holds the Australian men's record. Maree is number 3 on the all-time list, and with a 50.24. Darren's run 44.38. They were both absolutely outstanding 4x4 relay competitors, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to ask them for a few tips about 4x4, since on current indications are that the most likely way a 400 metre runner from this country is going to get to the World Championships this year or the Olympics next year will be in a 4x4 relay rather than the individual, because the standards are pretty high. I don't remember what the women's standard is, but it's about 51.5 probably, but the men's is 44.8. 51.3. So it's pretty up there. It's a pretty good standard. Yeah. So, Darren, what are your thoughts about the fundamentals of getting the 4x4 relay right, winning relays?
Okay. Ideally, I think getting off to a good start is very important, and trying to clear yourself of major traffic. When the incoming runner is coming in, you want the incoming runner to be showing the baton, so the person receiving can get a good swipe at it, and also keeping the speed up through the
through the box,
and facing the infield, not having your back to the infield, and having to rotate into possibly into traffic, and then accelerating away at pace, trying to rid yourself of that traffic. And the second leg is very important, because you have to merge, come out of the back straight, and I think accelerating off that corner, the relay exchange over there, coming into the back straight at pace, can set your race up beautifully.
So do you think they put their strongest runner second?
Lots of time.
They say that the second runner runs further.
Yeah, and it's further. Also it's a very important leg, because if you just come out and dawdle for the first 50 metres as opposed to attacking it, and you don't come off that corner into the back straight with speed, you're just back with the pack, and you've got no momentum. So it's a critical thing. And then basically after that, you just got to maintain your ground. You got to, if you can just maintain and stick on. If you're behind the US, if you can just stick to them like mud, and that's your job. Yeah. If you're in front, you want to just maintain that, and by exiting the corners right and getting good clean exchanges, that's critical to being competitive.
What about when you take the baton in your left hand? The advice is often change it to your right hand immediately. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Is that safe?
It's safe if you're clear and you're well out in front. But if it's all congested, you're probably best off to take it in your left and just keep it there until it's safe to change it into your right hand. Reason being, outside hand, and then the outgoing runner facing infield is going to be taking it to the left from your right.
So you had a bit of experience racing against the USA over the years, many times I think, and certainly in the Olympic final in Seoul, and before that in 1984 in Los Angeles. You ran the second leg and you ran 43.8 on that split, and you shocked the Americans. They couldn't catch you. What did that feel like?
Oh, it felt great. I learned a little bit from the individual final, because I didn't manage my strategy so good. So in the relay, it was an opportunity to execute the way I wanted to, and that was to take it out, accelerate off that corner, and really there was this 100 here, that corner, and really there was this 100 here, the first 100 coming in off that back straight really set my race up beautifully, because it was just a matter of just maintaining that momentum then, and being out in front, it's a lot easier. I can tell you that, rather than having to chase, And then I made sure that I didn't squeeze the pedal too hard. Going through the 200 metre mark, I was running at a perfect pace, and all I had to do then was just really make sure I had something left to fight off the challenge that was going to come from the Americans coming into the home straight, and as opposed to the individual effort, whereas I probably pulled the trigger a little bit too hard and ran out of petrol. This time I just squeezed it and I built my speed gradually coming into the home straight, and I was strong the whole way home, and I stuck it to them this time.
You sure did. You had an infamous leg of the 4x4 at the World Cup in Canberra in 1985. Can you just tell us how that unfolded?
Yes.
The clash between you and, was it Krylov?
Yeah, Krylov.
The USSR, yeah.
Well, it was the last event, and Russia and USA were at 1 point apart, so it came down to that one last race, and it wasn't a good result for me really in the end. I mean, I stood my ground and I did what I was trained to do, and if it happened again I'd probably do the same thing, but it backfired on me because I ended up the Russian guy was trying to get in the way of the American to screw them up, and just so happened that he was standing in my lane and barging me out. You couldn't see on the film because they were focusing on the incoming runner. But then after we'd done it 2 or 3 times, he jumped back in front of me again, about 30 metres in closing, coming into me. So I ended up having to physically remove him. And by doing that, it was like basically like dominoes, really. And people were going everywhere, and I ended up having nowhere to go. I had people in front of me. I ended up half tripping over another fella. So we went from, I think, 1st to 4th, or well out of it. And
that chaos that happened there when Ray Armstead had to jump over the flower pots because he got knocked by Krylov into the infield. Basically, and then Ray came back onto the track, and everybody else log jammed behind him, and Alan Oslands, who was giving it to you, passing to you on the final leg, he got caught behind a couple of big burly fellas, and he just couldn't get the baton to you.
The momentum just stopped. It just stopped dead, and while that happened, Michael Franks was already taken off, and he was running off into the distance. But it wasn't a pleasant experience, I must say. I did my best to defend my ground and all that. But if I had my time again, I would have liked to have had a better outcome. But it just goes to show how rough it can be. It really can be rough out there. And in that same race, Innocent Igbenike from Africa, he dropped the baton as he crossed the line. He got knocked
about
out
20 metres
by
before he crossed the line.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things happen.
No, was it Michael Franks that knocked it out? Yeah. Maree, can you tell us a bit about your relay experiences and whether you've got any lessons to learn or pass on from those experiences?
Probably one disappointment was that we didn't run a relay inside.
Yes.
Would have been really nice for the experience.
Yes.
That's one disappointment.
But you and Debbie didn't want to?
No, at the time.
At the time.
That's a little bit disappointing, that looking back. I really enjoyed running relays. I believe that I think you actually run better in a relay than in your own individual event. There's less pressure because you're part of a team. So the team component is really important. You can make it a lot more fun. You've got teammates, and I just think that being part of that is probably a really good experience for up and coming athletes. So as you were talking, that possibly next year they may not get to run the individual event, but being part of the team and experiencing the Olympics itself is a stepping stone to something bigger and better for them, as it, moving forward for them. Like I said, the Olympics, to me, looking back, I would have loved to have run the relay now when I look back. But
well, you would have had Sally Hamilton, and you would have had Jenny Laurenday.
Yeah, but like I said, sometimes in a relay event, it actually people actually run better in a relay than they actually do in their own individual event.
True. Very true.
Yeah. But
there's no...
I enjoyed running the relays. I think maybe what Darren was talking about in those handover set boxes here, it's really important to actually be watching what's going on as the runners are actually approaching you. Get yourself in a really good position. Like Darren said, don't be standing flat-footed. You need to maybe just be jogging on the spot, getting ready. Get your hand up, ready to, you're the one responsible for actually getting hold of that baton. So the people running obviously are tired. They're, you know, reaching out, encourage them. You're in charge of grabbing hold of that baton. Maybe the women's events maybe aren't as, I don't know, maybe when I was competing it wasn't as volatile as when Darren ran down in Canberra. So I never really experienced that jostling.
You also get
Maybe the women are a little bit more.
some athletes are coming home strong, some athletes are actually dying in the butt. So you get a really massive variance of people dying, coming home strong, and it's all over the place. It's really, it is different, isn't it, like that? So you're keeping an eye on, like you said, is vital, because you must know what's going on. If you're just sitting down not watching what's going down, you mightn't realise that, oh, you know, so and so going out like free beer and he's dying in the butt. You know, it's important to know that.
And the other thing is you need to know where you are, where your teammate is at the 200 metre mark, because that determines where you stand, the pecking order, the line-up to receive the baton. So, you know, if your team is fourth, but coming round in the next 200 metres they move to first, you still have to stand there in the fourth position, counting back from the infield. That's the rule, and that's what got us disqualified at the Commonwealth Games, when Steve Solomon leapfrogged a guy to get in front because Australia had moved and had progressed its position. But he had no right to do that. He had to wait out in lane 2 or 3, and the incoming runner should have come to him out where he was supposed to be still standing. But it didn't happen that way, and we got DQ'd.
Yeah, so it is important for the runner coming in to actually watch where their teammate is as well.
Always be aware of your environment.
And the rules too.
And listen to the judges. Listen to the last minute before the race starts. An official will usually come and tell you the precise rules, where you need to stand, what is safe, what line you can't cross. You guys you were on the sideline, Darren, after winning the Commonwealth Games. Individual 400 in 1990, but the Australian team managed to get itself disqualified because one guy had his foot on the wrong side of that white curved line, which was just ridiculous. An overzealous New Zealander, but it could still happen tomorrow.
That's right. I wonder what the judge is doing these days.
Probably swinging from a rope.
Yeah, that was harsh.
Thank you both.